Tinashe is a fighter. No, that's not a reference to her black belt in Taekwondo. Before she even burst on the scene in 2014 with hit single 2 On, Tinashe had been putting in a mountain of work in film and music. Even when things went belly up with her relationship with RCA, she stood 10 toes down as she carved out a career for herself as an independent artist. We don't see that every day in female R&B. Now there are new eyes on the nasty girl whose song of the summer has sparked new interest. So for today's episode of Culturalist Theory, we're giving Tinashe her flowers while putting y'all up on her catalog with this ranking. Yes, in this video we will be including her 4 mixtapes because according to the artist herself, they're full-length records. Remember to give us a thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe and share if you love it. Now let's get to it. Number 11, In Case We Die. We all start somewhere. In Tinashe's case, the point of origin is recording in her bedroom. After 4 years as a lead singer of girl group The Stunners, Tinashe took what remained of splitting a check 5 ways and invested it into mics, pop filters, and mixers. The result was 2012's In Case We Die. Billed as her first mixtape, but is really a full-length album with original beats and lyrics, Tinashe herself even calls this an LP, so don't come for us. Similar to the way Timberlake departed from the pop stylings of NSYNC for full-fledged R&B on Justified, Tinashe's music on In Case We Die is the furthest from the bubblegum pop that the Stunners made. Released when she was 18, the record is breathy, slow-paced, alt R&B with lyrical themes of love, lust, and harrowing heartbreak. The first half of the record is the most captivating with the songs Last Night on Earth, My High, That, I Tried, and Boss being standouts for their production and vocal performances. Her attempt to convey her authentic self, self-indulgent, reflective, insecure yet defiant, is lost in the mixing, which makes it hard to discern exactly what she is saying. And unfortunately, the second half of the tape falls apart starting at track number 8, Another Season. Going a little too left field by distorting her voice on that track, it's mostly downhill from there with needless interludes and instrumental tracks. Snip the last 7 songs and save Crossing the Cosmos and maybe Chainless, and this would be one of her best projects. Number 10, 333. If you were to poll R&B fans, what are the issues preventing Tinashe's music from connecting with more people? What do you think they'd say? Some might feel she doesn't stand out next to her contemporaries in R&B, so in doing our due diligence and getting more familiar with her music, we'd say she does have a distinctive style that crosses into pop sometimes and yet still has the cursive singing of modern R&B. However, now that we are more acquainted with her work, one notable issue is that she can go too far left field in song crafting. Case in point, 2021's 333. Following the success of her first indie album, Songs for You, Tinashe must have felt more emboldened to unleash her inner freak on wax and reveal her third eye she'd hidden from us all on the album cover. This LP would go on to peak at number 20 on Billboard's R&B albums chart, the same peak Songs for You reached. While we salute her for bringing avant-garde aesthetics to the genre of R&B in her style and presentation, critics who lauded this album for being eclectic must have meant to type scattershot. There are some undeniable records here that break the rewind button, the top being first single Pasadena, Undo, Back to My Heart, and Small Reminders with Let Me Down Slowly, Unconditional, and Naturally, as well as Woke Up Blessed on the deluxe edition Not Far Behind. Again, this album could have been whittled down for maximum impact. Some examples, you say? We could have lived our lives happily without hearing Tinashe on a drill beat on title track 333. The only thing saving the song X is the fire beat from Hitmaker because Jeremiah's Migos impression ain't it, nor are Tinashe's lurid lyrics. Bouncin' and its remix are also on the chopping block. Yes, we're aware that true Tinashe fans love her when she's being a bit weird, but in good conscience, we believe she has done better getting quirky on other LPs. Number 9, Joyride. In a lot of ways, 2018's Joyride is Tinashe making some of the boldest music in her career, at the same time succumbing fully to the will of RCA Records, the major label that cajoled her to make radio-friendly music. The Tinashe timeline for her releases can be a bit confusing because Joyride followed 2016's Nightride, an album Tinashe officially deems her second LP, but RCA doesn't. The beef was over the music's artistic direction, with Nightride being mostly lo-fi alternative R&B, worlds apart from the upbeat dance-ready Joyride. We could imagine an alternate world where Joyride and Nightride were packaged together as a double disc with both sides being different moods, like Drake's Scorpion or Beyonce's I Am Sasha Fierce. Alas, that compromise lives in hindsight, and this album would be Tinashe's last on RCA, ending a bittersweet relationship. But that doesn't mean she didn't go out with a bang. ranking. Even though Joyride peaked at number 29 on Billboard R&B, 21 spots lower than Nightride, it still broke onto international charts Tinashe hadn't reached before, like the Netherlands and Canada. Did y'all know Tinashe was big in Korea? Anyway, as much as Tinashe tried to make her lane experimental R&B, the truth must be said. She makes damn good dance music. Joyride has some undeniable slaps. No Drama with Offset, a banger from Stargate. Ooh La La, where the Grammy-winning producer Jay White did it, mixes the bed creaks of Trillville Some Cut and Nelly's ad-libs from Dilemma, Chef's Kiss. Then there's Stuck With Me, Faded Love, and the piano ballad Fires and Flames. With all the highlights on Joyride though, there is a lack of depth, and that was probably on purpose as Tinashe was fulfilling the whims of RCA. Looking at the cover art, a silhouette of Tinashe with wires and batteries strapped to her back, it's as if she's signaling she is accepting being a commodity meant to serve the machine. Listening to songs like Industrial Joyride and the overtly pop Me So Bad with Ty Dolla $ign and French Montana, it's clear Tinashe was just following the formula laid out for her. After 2 years recording more than 200 songs, Joyride only lasts 37 minutes long with 13 tracks. It packs a punch, but lacks the sincerity to land in the gut. Number 8, Blackwater. A year before her major label debut album Aquarius dropped, Tinashe's Blackwater project was released to tide fans over. With improved vocal mixing than her previous 2 tapes, this 13-track full-length LP sounds like what In Case We Die was aiming for. Adorning a traditional African head wrap on the cover, a nod to her father's Zimbabwean heritage, there are hints of Tinashe reaching into unexplored territories. There's some neo-soul on there with Just a Taste, which samples Tony's classic Anniversary, and a touch of ambient electronic music on Midnight Sun. However, at its core, Blackwater retains its alt R&B essence with a powerful ode to her one true love, music, on Blackwater, and the cry for Prince Charming on One For Me being the real anchors for this album. While up to this point, Tinashe's record had been virtually featureless, Travis Scott turns up on the boy wonder-produced Vulnerable, commandeering the record from Tinashe's grip. Blackwater is an asset and becomes more endearing to the ears if you become engulfed in Tinashe's music, but her penchant for placing needless interludes on her early records is distracting as they break the flow. Plus, there are songs that seem like they were already half-baked, such as Fugitive and Secret Weapon, where nothing memorable about them can be said. Nonetheless, Blackwater is worth diving into. Number 7, Reverie. By the time Tinashe's second mixtape dropped, she had already inked her major deal with RCA. That's because her first full-length, In Case We Die, had generated enough buzz to get the industry interested. Instead of resting on her laurels, Tinashe kept feeding the streets by dropping Reverie only a few months after her first mixtape. The result is a more refined piece where the songs that stand out here are some of her best, and the lesser ones are not as bad as her worst. The spacey production on Fear Not, Stargazing, and Yours, paired with Tinashe's wistful voice and flirtatious lyrics, make for an entrancing listen at the beginning. The record goes into outer space though when tracks number 4 and 11, Slow and Who Am I Working For, comes on. Both produced by Nez and Rio, the production team behind every record of hers in an ideal world, Tinashe's winding vocal runs and impassioned singing over these syncopated tracks are pure gold. These 2 records would have to be included in a best of Tinashe compilation. Unlike other Tinashe projects, this record is devoid of any upbeat, teasy jams. The closest we get to anything up-tempo is the breakup song Another Me. This LP is meant for a more reflective, melancholic mood, as beautiful songs like Ecstasy, Come When I Call, and I'm Selfish pull on one's heartstrings more than pull you to the dance floor. While we will definitely revisit Reverie when we need a soundtrack to a dreary day, a Tinashe record isn't complete without at least a bop or two. Number 6, Quantum Baby. Sometimes things don't happen when you want them, but they happen right on time. After years of toiling on the independent tip, it feels like Tinashe's music is currently going through a renaissance of renewed interest. A lot of this is fueled by her latest single Nasty, produced by Ricky Reed. In an interview with Variety, Tinashe and Ricky talk about how they crafted the quirky, sultry single that has peaked at number 61 on Billboard's Hot 100, making it Tinashe's first appearance on the singles charts as a solo artist since 2 On over a decade ago. But the album It's On, Quantum Baby, the sequel to 2013's Baby Angel, is packed with equally creative songs. At only 8 tracks long, Tinashe's inventive harmonies, playgirl lyrics, and hypnotic beats combine to make an engaging experience. You definitely hear the growth in her artistry on the outset when the chorus from No Simulation grabs your attention, followed by the lo-fi jungle groove on Getting No Sleep, then the titillating trap-tinged Thirsty. There is a lull in the middle with the slower ballads Red Flags and Cross That Line. They are sentimental songs for a certain mood, but they sap the energy from this record as it rolls from start to finish. However, the album's high-tempo jams like When I Get You Alone and the Girls' Night Out anthem No Broke Boys are perfect setups for the exclamation exclamation mark nasty, which punctuates the album. Quantum Baby peaked at number 23 on Billboard's R&B charts and has some saying she is in the big 3 of female R&B. Let us know down in the comments who you think should be included in that list. Number 5, Aquarius. In 2014, it might have seemed like Tinashe burst onto the scene out of nowhere, but her overnight success was a lifetime in the making. Tinashe Kachingwe was acting, dancing, and singing as early as 5 years old. Some of her early IMDb credits include Akila and the Bee in 2006 and a recurring role from 2008 to 2009 in CBS's smash hit sitcom 2.5 Men. In between time, in 2007, she joined a 5-girl manufactured pop band in 2007 named The Stunners, who released a few singles, an EP, and opened for Justin Bieber's First World Tour in 2010. Post-group and many YouTube University degrees later, she signed to RCA Records and began working on her debut Aquarius. A nod to her zodiac sign and symbolism, she was ushering in a new age of R&B. So how did Aquarius come out after all the work she was putting in? Well, the album is certainly more upbeat and radio friendly than anything that came before it and arguably after it. The first single, 2 On, is a bass heavy bop that benefited from its infectious DJ Mustard beat, sultry vocals, and a verse from TDE's Man of the Year, Schoolboy Q, and the Drake stimulus package via the remix. The platinum certification for 2 On would be her only plaque for a single to date. The album is plagued though by interludes that break the flow, and the track Feels Like Vegas is the most blatant attempt at condensing the mid-2010s hip-hop sound into one track. Aquarius was well received by critics who heard B-sides like Bated Breath and Cold Sweat, but 2014 was a hard year for a new girl on the block to make a name when OGs were still outside. Keisha Cole dropped Point of No Return, Toni Braxton had Love, Marriage, and Divorce with Babyface, Mary J brought the London Sessions, and Beyonce was still dominating the charts with her self-titled album released the previous year. The only new female R&B artists to reach number 1 on Billboard R&B Hip Hop were Tiana Taylor with 7, Jhené Aiko with Sold Out, and K. Michelle with Anybody Wanna Buy a Heart. Tinashe didn't stand a chance to rule that year, but made a strong showing with Aquarius, landing at number 3 on Billboard R&B. Number 4, Nightride. It's controversial to call Tinashe's 2016 piece Nightride her second album. She says it is, but RCA says it isn't. This is indicative of the larger creative struggles between Tinashe and her label that started during the making of her debut album Aquarius, where she was pushed to make more danceable hip-hop, and they squabbled over even the cover art. Tinashe says that RCA didn't support Nightride because it wasn't the type of music they wanted her to make. After listening to Nightride, we can see why. Tinashe returned to making the dark, sultry, slightly experimental bedroom R&B that defined her mixtape era. Doing all the writing herself except for one song, and working with producers that capture that wistful mood, Tinashe tackles topics of love, loss, and life while singing like a jaded angel. Tracks Lucid Dreams, C'est La Vie, and Sunburn open the album as moody whispers, notes from the diary of a girl with a deeper soul than the exterior lets on. These slow, tastefully layered songs where Tinashe alternates between falsetto to mezzo-soprano over boundary-pushing production are the majority of the record. The best of those are Space Time, Soul Glitch, the Metro Boomin produced Sacrifices, and our personal favorite, Party Favorites produced by Boy Wonder. Nevertheless, you can tell A&Rs were still in Tinashe's ear influencing choices on Nightride. We can let the first single Company slide by because even though it was given to her on a platter, produced and written solely by The Dream, it's a fun song that makes you want to move. We can't say the same though for Touch Pass and Ghetto Boy. And as much as we love Tinashe's touches of experimentalism, having a good portion of the vocals played in reverse on You Don't Know Me is a bit too surreal. Let Missy Elliott keep that. Even though Nightride didn't get the proper promotional push it deserved, it still peaked at number 8 on Billboard's top R&B and hip-hop charts and number 16 on Rolling Stone's list of best R&B albums of 2016. What do you think would have happened if RCA actually put effort into supporting Tinashe's creative vision? Anyway, the title Nightride is not false advertising because this album is perfect for late night cruising with a moonroof back. Number 3, Amethyst. Her 4th and final mixtape to date, named after her birthstone, is a 2015 project released to hold fans over as label RCA was delaying the release of her second album. Going back to the basics, she hunkered down in her bedroom like she did for In Case We Die, Reverie, and Blackcraft to craft a personal project full of experimental beats and whimsical lyrics of love, lust, and loss. In retrospect, Amethyst is a bellwether of the genius Tinashe would display almost a decade later in her Baby Angel and Quantum Baby eras, as this 7-track piece teases just enough to fully captivate but leaves us wanting to come back for more. From embracing her West Coast roots on the love story Worth It with I Am Sue to making the toxic love anthem with Looking For It, Tinashe makes it look too easy as she bounces from track to track with a different attack. Wanderer has Nashe spitting real game over DJ Dahi produced soundscapes. Dreams Are Real is motivation for anyone striving for greatness. Even though Tinashe doesn't need the auto-tune, the light use of it on the funky Wrong doesn't distract from his flawless sheen. Something to Feel is Tinashe pairing up with the producers that best match her sound, Nez and Rio, to make another classic in her catalog, and Just the Way I Like It is a fitting experimental close to an album that was a ride from beginning to end. The Amethyst stone was once considered to be of equal or greater value to other precious stones like ruby, emerald, and sapphire. Well, if you ask us, this gem is easily gold in our eyes. Number 2. Baby Angel. Sometimes following the old adage, less is more, is right on the money. Tinashe's 2021 album 333 was a bit bloated and everywhere all at once, but its follow-up, Baby Angel, is the total opposite. Stripped down while intricate and at only 7 songs long, the first part of her trilogy on self-discovery and reinvention is filling but not overbearing. The album peaked at number 31 on Billboard's top album sales, powered by 3 dope singles and a sold-out tour on the East Coast and China. Opening with Treason, Tinashe sings some of her most moving lyrics about longing for love over an electronic soundscape from Machine Drum that builds the tension. Scoop DeVille and Asajj Thing make a hypnotic track that pops while Tinashe swoons on Talk to Me Nice. Needs, the second single, is the ready-made twerk song we've come to expect from a Tinashe album. It swings with sexiness and blends nicely into the thumping a rare moment where the usually tenacious Tinashe reveals insecurity and feeling sexy around her booth. While the song Gravity and much of this record is powered by the percussion of UK garage music, it retains its R&B essence when you hear Tinashe's runs and choral vocal swoons over spacey melodies. The final 2 songs, None of My Business and Tightrope, are beautiful songs about toxic love with some of the best writing Tinashe has put on wax. She's really talking on this record. While not being overtly fun and carefree like her other albums, Baby Angel is her most mature album so far and will probably be the one to appreciate most over time. Number 1, Songs for You. Tinashe's 4th album, Songs for You, is excellent when you only consider the music, but when you dig into the background of it, you gain a greater appreciation for not only it, but the artist as well. After years of being stuck in a love-hate relationship with RCA Records, the final straw was when her planned commercial mixtape Nashe with producer Hitmaker was shelved in 2018. It was then announced in early 2019 that Tinashe was breaking up with a label that arguably hampered her full potential. Instead of going with another major, she started her own label and signed a management contract with Roc Nation. When Tinashe started her solo career in 2011, she was in her Los Angeles bedroom teaching herself how to write, produce, and record, hoping to get signed. Fast forward 8 years, she's laying down vocals in her LA bedroom for what she described as her most vulnerable work, but has the courage and wisdom to know she can go it alone. When Songs for You was released, it went number 1 on iTunes charts, putting Tinashe in league with Frank Ocean as R&B artist with number 1s as indie artist, and it peaked at number 20 on Billboard Top R&B. All of that success and the subsequent sold-out shows on Tour for You were well-deserved because Tinashe goes all out on every track. From blending hip-hop and house on Die a Little Bit with British female rapper Miss Banks to acoustic guitar ballads on Remember When, Tinashe perfectly covers so many bases over 15 tracks. Coming out of the depths of heartbreak, Tinashe makes an album of music beating her chest proclaiming to be that girl, which she is, while in her heart, she's a jilted lover who pines for her man to return. There's a story here. We love to even theorize that the cover art is a thirst trap directed towards Ben Simmons. The song that best summarizes the album, though, is Perfect Crime. This LP isn't a breakup album, nor is it just sweet nothings. It's a wide range of feelings, and that's the brilliance. Songs for You might have been inspired by one guy, but the emotions she touches, the mood she captures, and the vibe she creates are songs all of us could relate to. Add the fact that she made this album pop off without any major backing, and it's an enduring monument to the tenacity of Tinashe. If you enjoyed this video, check out our playlist on R&B divas right here. Be on the lookout for more female R&B lists like K. Michelle and Tamar Braxton. Stay tuned for more Culturalist Theory. Peace.